Hello viewers, you are welcome to the program NUC and the Public. This is the maiden edition of the program NUC and the Public. Today we have with us the Executive Secretary of National Universities Commission, Professor Okoji. Sir, you're welcome to.
Thank you very much.
Sir, how many universities do we have now and the ownership? We'd like to know.
Today, as of today, we have 117 universities. Of these, 45 are private, 36 are state-owned, and 36 are federal government universities. So you have 72 public universities in this country.
Okay. So what's the assets and carrying capacity?
You know, you define carrying capacity as the number of students you can accommodate based on the facts, facilities, and teaching staff that you have. You can take it as a global outlook. Today we have about 1.02 million students in the entire system. But on the specific term, if we talk about the micro level of carrying capacity, we probably were able to take about 300,000 students every year. And when you multiply that, you look at attrition, by the time the student gets to the final year, you find that it's only about how many you have. But that is inclusive of postgraduate programs. So you probably have about 870,000 students on undergraduate program. That is not including those on part-time programs and on approved affiliations. These are the ones we're able to capture through the normal JAM entering. Those who sign their registrar, what they call it, this registrar when they matriculate. And that's going to be a problem Sunday because a lot of students are in the system who are not bona fide students. Because to qualify to be a student, you must have a matric number. And you have a residency requirement. If you don't spend up to 4 semesters in the campus, you can't be an alumnus or an alumni. Those are the issues people don't know.
Okay. How would you rate the current state of university education in Nigeria?
We live in different economies in the world. Based on the facts, the environment, and the resources available to us, we have done very well. But on the global outlook, you find that Nigerian universities are relatively young. If you look at Harvard, for instance, founded 1634, Yale 1701, William and Mary 1668. Then I to talk about Ibadan University of 1948. And I have had more universities in 1999 to this time than between 1948 and 1999. So relatively young. But that's not to say, because I also remember in history, Brandeis University was 20 years old when it was one of the top 12 universities in the US. So those are issues. So based on the environment in which we operate, incessant strike, whether it's for fuel or something or salary increase or something, I would consider that pretty well because the testimony to this is the performance of our students who go for postgraduate studies. They may have initial setback at the beginning, just as I had when I was in Yale. I couldn't write Fortran, but by the time I spent 2 months in Yale, and at the time I was graduating, my prof said I was one of the best graduating students. You can't take this from Nigerian students. They're hardworking. So just give them basics. But I also know that with the deployment of ICT to most homes and centers and universities, children are able to learn on their own. They take courses from on the what I call in the public domain. Something like IMT has all its lectures on the internet. So when I was the vice chancellor, we made it compulsory that students take courses from 2 external sources. So there are more resources, e-journals, e-books, than we had in my time. So we're doing fairly well, but that's not to say that we can be better than this. Because usually I hear people say the Nigerian graduate is not employable. It's not true.
Yes.
Because a lot of Nigerians forget very quickly that the first degree is not enough for you to work with in the US. And here you expect that somebody has a first degree, he should be able to do everything in life. No. It's too short a time to acquire the skills required. And that's why when you go to the US, you are what they call community colleges, where people go to learn skills. It's like the equivalent of polytechnics here. But those ones are skills. They were developed after the Second World War to train the GIs that were coming back from war, to learn some skills and welding and what have you. I was in Arizona Gateway Polytechnic, community college. They got about 200 and something Toyota engines to study transmission. That's a good relationship between industry and the training sector. But I was surprised to learn that those who had a 4-year degree program came to learn skills in that setting. So it's the same thing everywhere. So we're not doing too badly.
Yeah. So what effort is NUC putting to check fake universities in the country?
Good. I know you're aware of this because, one, sensitization. When I came aboard, that phenomenon became very, what I call it now, notorious, not well known in the system. But I must say that what created that avenue was the fact that government closed all the satellite campuses. So there were existing facilities, there were niches that people were waiting to walk into. But these honest individuals are in the system who run the university setting. They form alliances with some of these people outside and are running programs as if they were based on the campus. So they graduated from that to running illegal universities. You can't hear of an illegal federal state university because they either bear the name Federal University of Technology or something, or Ebonyi State University or something. You can't find them. So in the era of private universities, 1999, this idea also crept in. Because except you are very observant, you won't know all the names of private institutions. So people took advantage of that and decided on their own to start talking about running universities. They thought that by just going to Corporate Affairs Commission and registering a name, then you are having a university. But there are laws and that we have a 14-point process procedure for establishing private universities. So we set up what they call illegal university monitoring committee to close down those systems. We had somebody from our side who had been a Director General of Police. The first thing we did was a sensitization program. We sent out to all nooks and crannies of this country to inform governors, commissioners of police, commissioners of education, the local government chairmen, the local community leaders and churches and what have you. That if you see any strange things growing up at the backyard, it's not approved. You get an approved list of institutions. But this phenomenon is not restricted in this country alone. About 2 years ago, I went for what they call Council on Higher Education and Accreditation in the U.S. We're discussing the issue of illegal degree mills, which they call them in the U.S. One representative bishop was telling me, America is only just trying to take a bill to their rep now. So we're also moving ahead. Not too long ago, we have passed through, taking a bill to the Federal Judicial Council, executive bill. And we're going to make very adequate and very stern prescriptions to discourage people setting up these institutions. We have a lot of cases in court. We have closed a lot of illegal institutions. The banks are also aware because there's no way you open an account, name of a university that you won't know. So banks also inform us. And people are very alive to their responsibility. They tell us now we have something near the back of our house, we don't know where it's coming from. So we also get a feedback mechanism. Of course, we have a website where we publish a list of private universities. We have a weekly journal, what do you call it, the Monday Bulletin, where we publish a list of approved universities. And we also have a published list of illegal universities. We say it's not exhaustive. There may be other more, but people get to know what is happening in the system. So that's where we are. And we're prosecuting, I know, and the law enforcement agents are helping us, EFCC, ICPC, then of course the police and the SSS.
Okay. The federal government recently assured that our university students will get back to school soon.
Yes.
When will this happen?
When will this happen?
Yes.
Nobody can tell. When there's a new development now with NLC. Don't forget that ASU is a member of NLC. So the danger of it is that whether we go on strike for price of increase in kerosene or not, universities will join them. So, but for this complication, we had made progress. through the SGS office, Senator Pastor, and we were making steady progress. And we have resolved a lot of issues. The issue on 70-year retirement age is gone to the National Assembly. It's probably handled now. We're looking at the issue of improved funding. And government, in fact, invited all agencies that had interventions to help education. NCC, we had the Ministry of Communication Technology, we had PTDF, and so many others. So these ones are putting together the resources, and government is trying to encourage them to do more than they are doing already. For instance, the Ministry of Communication Technology is trying to ensure that we have a good broadband width, and that's what's lacking in this country. So ETF fund, TED fund, is going through a long way to helping the university system. So once I think that my colleagues are reasonable enough, they are very intelligent people, professors and others have been in the system, they know we have made progress, then we'll resume. The ball is in their court. We have shown sincerity. So when I hear people say government didn't fail to implement their agreement, and I say, which agreement are they talking of? Government paid all the salaries and arrears. He started processing for 70-year retirement age. The issue of PENCOM, they would say, PENCOM, which university they want a separate pension administration, is also on the way. Then more funding, government has shown evidence that there's more funding. And in fact, they're going to do much more. It's in their interest to do that. Then what's left is the issue of earn allowances. If you look at that agreement, where they say 1.5 trillion naira is required to fund capital project from 2009 to 2011, it's written there, we agree to recommend to government. We don't know what government will earn from revenue. We only agree to recommend to government. If you say we have refused to implement, government is only going to implement based on the resources it has. Can you really spend 500 billion naira every year on capital in federal universities? Tell me, when the total capital recurrent budget for the year, this year now, is less than 5 trillion. Tell me. So we also know that these are proposals, and government will respond to the best of its ability, because they are competing needs of government funds and resources. So they are reasonable, and I know when we get somewhere. But for this complication of NLC and the general strike in respect of subsidy withdrawal, we are making very steady progress.
Well, viewers, we'll take a short break now. We'll be right back. Don't go away. For those of you that are just joining us, the program is NUC and the Public. And we'll be talking with the Executive Secretary, Professor Okoji. And we've talked about how many universities we have in the country, we've talked about the carrying capacity, and so on. Stay with us. We'll continue.
Good.
Sir, quality assurance is your main mandate. How do you carry out this mandate?
It's one of the mandates.
Quality assurance
is one of the main mandates.
Yes. So how do you carry out?
Good. The other main mandate is improvement of access. If you don't have enough spaces for students, quality will not be the main issue. If you have only one university and you have 12 students graduating first class, it doesn't make a difference. Whereas I would prefer a university with 200,000 students of an average 2 second class or power of second class law. So you're asking, how do you carry out quality assurance concept? Don't forget that after the 2006-2007 reforms, we have restructured the National Universities Commission to be able to address the challenges that are involved. That means that we have relevant departments for the effective monitoring and development of university system. Quality assurance comes in various forms. First of all, for private universities, I told you about the three ownership profiles. For private university, we start the quality assurance from the beginning by engaging the prospective providers as to the fact that whether they have enough funds to invest, what are the facilities going to look like. We make prescriptions, general prescriptions. The land will be well drained, this and that. Classroom will be of this size and that. They all have those documents. And we'll go regularly at their main construction. So we'll give them a license. operational license, it's interim for about 3 years for the first time. It means we have a strong hold on what they have. We look at their finances. But for public universities, federal and state, we don't have that opportunity. Education is on the concurrent list. So a state can wake up one day and go to their state house assembly and say, we have the University of Odobolu, University of something. It's only when they have done all the academic brief, physical master plan, and they come to show all those documents, they will give them recognition. But it's our duty to carry out accreditation. We gave them what they call start-off programs. After then, for them to establish any new program, they must come to NUC. And what we'll do for us to approve those programs, we'll go and do what they call resource verification. If it's for anatomy, we'll go and look at their labs. Do they have a good mortuary place where they can keep these things? Do they have a good lecture theater? Do they have that and that? That's quality in a sort of facilities already. So we do that. We look at teaching staff profile. For us to approve that new program, how many professors, how many senior lecturers, what are the projections, funding profile, how are they going to get this thing done? That's what we do. But for existing universities at federal and state level, once the program has been approved, not accredited, we go after a 2-year or 3-year